joining today. This is the first session of day 3 of the conference, and I hope that so far that you've had an opportunity to attend other sessions and thoroughly enjoyed them as we have. Look out for the other sessions today. We've got another jam-packed day, lots of information, fun, collaboration and participation to look forward to. Today's session is we have a guest, Keith Osborne from Care First, who is our new EAP provider. We partnered with them in August, and it's an opportunity for us today to hear more about Care First, what they can offer and how they can support people. Advance is deeply committed to having a work environment where all staff feel supported, and central to this is recognising the importance of mental health and wellbeing. In the past, mental health has often been overlooked or misunderstood in many workplaces, but thankfully, due to increased awareness and research, there's a much better understanding and recognition that mental health is just as important as physical health. And Advance wants to ensure that you have access to the support you need when you need it. So on that note, I'm delighted to invite Keith Osborne to tell us more about it. Keith, welcome.
Thanks, Alex. God, I'm built up there. Can we all do yourselves a favour? Can we all just open up our mics just quickly? I'm quite noisy, so just open up your mics quickly. And I want us to do on the count of 1, 2, 3. I want us to be going morning, okay? Because expelling a bit of energy and being noisy and loud is good. It's good for our soul, our mental well-being. Okay, so I just want to give that a go because this is a soulful, soulless way of working this. I want to see your vocal cords. I want to see how noisy you can be. So are we all ready? All got microphones up. So 1, 2, 3. Morning.
Morning.
Morning. Morning.
Now, I would score that about 7 out of 10. I think we can go a few more decibels up in there. So we're going to give it one more go with all of it. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Morning.
Now I feel welcomed and ready to start. So thank you for that. You can ditch off your microphone so you can cough and belch and as you wish as you go through this session. So we've got 45 minutes together, but let's start with finding out the quality of the people and the intellect that we've got in the room. Okay, and this is a mental exercise and it's a psychoanalysis, and I just want to know how I'm going to pitch my next 40 minutes by looking at the quality that we have. So with your pen and paper that you've got ready, because you'd never turn up for something as important as this without having a pen and paper in your hand, right? So I want you to quickly draw a cat. A cat. Go on quickly. Let's go. Let's see if we got a new Banksy coming out of Oxfordshire. Forget him down in London. Let's quickly draw a cat and see how great we are at drawing a cat. Couple of seconds. Okay, we all good? I can see like tongues out the corner of mouths and people looking at their phones to remind them of what their cat looks like and things like that. Let's just rip it down. The immediacy is really important with this because that's how I'll get the full scope of how your brain works. Come on, let's do a show and tell then. Let's put up your cats. Don't be shy. I'm loving it. They are sensational. There's some that kind of look as though they've been run over there, but there's others which are definitely right up there. Okay, so what can I learn from that? What can we take from that? So with people who draw cats with high ears, who's got a cat with a high ears, real high pointy ears? Heather's got a cat with high ears. Alex has. Sarah has. Justin has. Well, guys, great news. This means you're gonna be a high achiever. Okay, because high ears means that you want to go far. So you can see where we go. So the next thing is who's got a cat with long whiskers, really long whiskers? Anyone got? Justin, you've got a cat that's just an all-rounder at the moment. It's fantastic. Okay, so a cat with long whiskers. definitely means that you're a tidy person. I'll probably go into your desk down there and there's no thing, everything's in order. And mine's just a shambles because I've got kind of little curly whiskers going on with my cat with all of it. And your car's probably going to be immaculate. It's not going to be filled up with chewing gum wrappers and old crisp packets and what's it's in the sea. So you're a person that preens. And I can see from the people that put their hands up, you know, you're immaculately dressed and it's great. So that's brilliant. Who's got a cat with an anchor nose? So you kind of draw down there. Kate's got an anchor nose cat, or he's got an anchor nose cat. Brilliant. So what does that mean? It means you play it safe. You've probably got a fixed mortgage for 20 years. You probably hedge your energy bill for 5 years. You probably go to the horse races and go each way. You don't put anything on the nose, no pun intended there. And it means you just play it safe. Nothing wrong with that. That's just what it means. Okay. Last one then. Who has got what I call three-dimensional cat? Being a bit arty-farty, and you got their head there and all four legs sticking out, not looking like like a child's drawing. Anyone got three-dimensional cat? Okay, so that means you probably see everyone's perspective. You probably get everyone round the same side of the table. You make a person who works well in HR or empathetically in the industry that you're in. So you kind of like the gather around that. So you can take a lot out of people's drawings. It's mad, isn't it? Okay, this is how people's minds work. So with that in mind, all quickly, draw a mouse. Go on, let's go again. Get your Banksy head on. Quick, draw a mouse. You never thought you'd be doing this today, did you? Kind of. Okay. We're already do a show and tell. Let's have a little look. Don't be shy. Up to the cameras. Alex, your mouse is just a small cat. I like the attempt that some people have tried to put it on a hamster wheel as well. Well done, Sarah. That is definitely a great mouse. So fantastic. So well done. So you have all drawn something that a cat catches that goes E, haven't you? Why haven't you drawn one of these? Do you see one of these every day of the week? Do you see the thing that goes E very often? No. So what did you do? Anyone want to just open up their mouth? Why did you not draw one of these? Anyone want to shout out?
Because you'd already talked about an animal.
Okay. So what did you do with that?
Association.
You made an association. You made an assumption. Now, all of the stuff I talked about there was total rubbish about psychoanalysis, about how you draw. I just wanted to make sure that you today, when we go through these 45 minutes, you don't make any assumption. You don't make any association. You ask questions. Let's thrash this out. Mental health is so important to you, and your organisation really wants you to gain this. So let's not make assumptions out of what you think you're getting. Let's go out of this room today knowing exactly what you're going to get and how to support yourself and when you're going to go and get that support, rather than it just being a nodding dog, that's fine. But then let's go through this. So at times I'll say, is it a mouse or is it a mouse? Okay, but thank you for playing my little game with that. And I'm glad you all fell into my mouse trap. But let's push on. I will open up my slide deck. We'll have a little bit more fun towards the end as well. And let me see if I can share my screen. Have you all got that? Someone shout out.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, I can't see you now, so you've got to shout because I've got the screen in front of me. So we are, as Alex said, your employee assistant program provider. Let's go through some stats, and this brings it into focus. So 22.8% of people will be affected with mental health. It's actually not right in their lifetime in the next 12 months. So there's zillions of you on the call right now, and that's 1 in 5 people will be affected this year in the next 12 months by mental health. And that's a huge statistic. So that's how important this is to focus in, that we are in denial. If you've got 5 people in the room, 1 of you needs our support. And that's a real important factor with it. Now, I hope that never is you, but if you do, then you need to make sure and be aware of that. But I'm a bit of a statistics probability person, and that is a huge stat. Mental health causes 17 million lost working days in a year, and that was in 2023. And that's across the world with that. And that's a huge amount of hours. And it's not just about the hours lost, it's also about how you are and how you're feeling. And that's just terrible. We all want to be working well, we all want to be fit and healthy. And that's a real important stat across that. Across the world, 14.3% of deaths are related to mental health issues, whether that's eating disorders or whether it's substance abuse or just anxiety. And that's a massive stat with that. We support approximately 11,000 people per month in this organisation. And that, again, is off of population workforce. About 9.7% of every workforce that we have uses our service. So we need to be aware of these stats and be aware of the signs and the symptoms, but make those calls. If you are thinking about needing some support, you definitely do need some. Okay, don't leave it too late. Don't let it get too deep, and then we can't unpack and help and support you. I think it was a BT or BT advert in about 1986, showing my age here, where they said it's good to talk, and that is definitely something that you should do. So some interesting stats. Who are Care First? We're a professional counselling service. We're actually owned by the Priory Group. The Priory Group are the largest provider of mental health in the UK, and Priory are owned by Median, which are the largest provider of mental health in Europe. So you kind of cut our arms off and we bleed mental health. We've traded for 30 years. We know the industry. We're definitely look at small, medium-sized businesses, not big businesses. You are definitely a person, not a number, and that's really, really important for us. Our support complements your line management and your human resources, but this is a confidential service, which means that your organisation won't know that you're being supported by us. And that's really, really important that you know that it is sensitive data, and they will get information about what issues are being topical, because that's how we can prevent things in conferences of this nature, but you won't know who. So that's really, really important to do that. Majority of our issues that we deal with, and I'm talking 92%, have got nothing to do with work. It's to do with personal life. So this is a great support that the organisation has provided you, but this is about your home life and your home support. It's not about work necessarily. So how do we support you? We provide you with a 24/7, 365 emotional support line. And that is in the moment support, and that's delivered by a counsellor when you phone through here. It's single session therapy. The sessions will last up to 50 minutes, and that's classed as a counselling hour, and we have 10 minutes call wrap from there. We're different from other organisations where people, when they phone here, will speak to a counsellor. We do have capacity issues at times, and if that is the case, then we will arrange a callback for you. But we believe immediacy is really, really important. We do provide a clinical assessment depending on how you present, and from there we can then issue out short-term structured counselling sessions, which is up to 6 sessions, and that is with the same counsellor each week for 6 weeks, unless of course you go on holiday or something comes in the way you can do that. We provide this via telephone, video, or face-to-face. We're still old school with that and provide face-to-face, although majority of our sessions are delivered as we're doing today. Just fits in with your life, and the whole aim really is not to provide any barriers that you can't access the support that you need. We have trained information specialists, so it's another service that's provided by the 24/7 helpline. This service is 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Friday, and they assist people with practical advice and support. I'll talk a little bit more about them in a second. We have the Care First Lifestyle website, which is there to give you a content library, coping mechanisms. There is budget calculators, lots of tools on there, and it's a great way of just making yourself aware of it, as indeed is our app, My Possible Self. We will take a little trip through all of these as we go through the session today. Okay, so the user experience. So knowing what you expect is really important when you reach out to us, and we can help to build your confidence to make that contact. So you pick up the telephone, you speak, you phone through here, and you given three options: push 1 to speak to to speak to a counsellor, 2 to speak to a telephone information specialist, or 3 all other inquiries. And all other inquiries is an automated menu selection that tells you how to gain access to the app. So this person calls in and wants to speak to a counsellor. They select option 1. We will we don't need to know your name. Eligibility will be done by just asking who you work for. And from there, we'll read out a confidentiality statement, and then we'll provide you with a case reference number. And we provide you with a case reference number because we want you to make multiple phone calls. We end up giving you a period of reflection after the first call. We can, if you don't get through to a counsellor, we do arrange a callback. But we encourage you to call in multiple times, and it's this little and often process which ensures the support that you need. If, however, you presented in an anxious state or high levels of depression, then we will conduct a clinical assessment, and we use GAD-7 and PHQ-9, which is an assessment from 0 to 21. And depending on the outcome from there, we will then offer you structured counselling sessions, and that will be arranged within 48 hours and delivered within 5 days. And that is via telephone, face-to-face, or virtual face-to-face. And that is the start of your solution-focused sessions. If your score is under 8, it's a scale from 0 to 21, then we keep you in the moment support, carrying on giving you support. It's deemed that you don't need structured counselling, and that's perfect intervention, and that's where I want you to be. That's why I wanted to give you those stats earlier on, to sort of shock you into this is a real thing. This isn't just a kind of a gimmick with it. These are real live data, and a lot of people need our support. So it's really, really important that if you think that you might need a support, that you make that phone call. And if we can keep you in the moment support, speaking to our 24/7 helpline, great. If you're having structured counselling sessions, you're working unwell, or you're actually having time off work, and we don't want you to do that. If your issues are too in depth and we cannot unpack those sessions within your issues within 6 sessions, then clinically we shouldn't provide you with the 6-session model. Counselling, EAP is short-term structured counselling. We will signpost you onto other organisations such as NHS, Alcoholics Anonymous, Gambling Anonymous, Relate, whatever's the most appropriate agency. And we will carry on supporting you in the moment. But it's important that I give you that user journey and how we work. But can't stress enough, if you think that you might need to make a call, you definitely do, and make that call and reach out to us. So who are our counsellors? Our counsellors are professionally qualified to a minimum of a diploma. They're accredited by the BACP counselling service. Checked with disclosure and barring service. It's easier to work for GCHQ than it is for us. It takes about 6 months to get through clearance in this organisation. There's been recent nasty exposés from the largest provider of mental health and around confidentiality, and we have none of that. And it's part of the strength of being with Priory and Median in terms of our clinical governance. Extensive experience in NHS and clinical psychology, but we also ensure all of our counsellors have actually had life skills outside just this, and we employ them based off of 3 years worth of working in another industry. And then they can just see it from everybody's perspective. So our telephone information specialists, a service that people tend to forget comes with EAP, and this now is used 42% of our calls last month, and we do about 11,000 calls a month, were from this telephone information specialist. It's a private citizens advice bureau. In fact, we work off the Citizens Advice Bureau platform. It's a wide range of issues covering, including legal, family matters, probate. It's what your rights are. It gives you practical advice and a lot of signposting. Saves you time Googling up and doing it yourself. These are trained people. They're not lawyers, but they're legally trained. They're not accountants, but they're money wise. Many aspects of support happens from there. As I say, financial well-being, we provide with debt consolidation, where you can get grants from, reduce your money worries. But we see this as very much treating the whole person. And our telephone information specialists are trained to identify anxiety and depression and move them across to the counsellors, and the counsellors are trained to actually think about practical advice that would help people's mental well-being. I'll give you an example of that, that somebody could be supported by a counsellor for bereavement, but some of the anxiety that's still being caused is around not knowing about inheritance tax. And therefore, if we can solve that problem, then that anxiety goes away. Anxiety is caused by lack of control a lot of the time. And if we can give people the gift of controlling their situation, then anxiety disappears. So it's about treating the whole person. It's a great service. These are some examples to bring it to life. My car has been clamped. What are my rights? It's amazing that suddenly you make that phone call while you've got the officious person in the high-vis jacket clamping your car. You make the call in, we send some information about your rights, you flash them your phone, and suddenly they unlock their car and off they go. So it's an important reference point for you to use, and one that is used so much now, and we probably will extend it to a 24/7 helpline because of demand with it. I think it's an industry. Sorry, I think it's an indication that UK PLC isn't great. Now, we also provide you with My Possible Self mental health app. Now, at the moment, we launched this August. Alex, was it August? We launched, and we sent out to everybody how to download the app. Now, the app is really important. It's not how counselling should be done, but it gives you connectivity and makes you aware of it. It has a mood tracker on it, and some of the functionality that we have really does make you aware of the position you're in. It's stickiness. I've got a 23-year-old and 26-year-old. They don't do anything in this as an app, and at the moment we have got 1% uptake out of your workforce population on the app. Now, looking at all of our workforce, the people that have good app usage and good app downloads then engage with us more on the counselling helpline, and that's really, really important that we try and do that. So take out from today that I'm probably going to launch a competition next month in conjunction with Alex and Sarah about downloading the app, and we'll put up a prize to try and accelerate this. It's great. It's really sticky. For those of you who use My Possible Self, My Fitness Pal, it's very similar to that. It's interactive, engaging, and once you're in on it, it's brilliant. But you can listen to meditation, breathing exercises, helps you with sleep patterns. It is a terrific app and a resource that's available for you. And at the moment, we've got low usage on it. So that's my plea to you today. My Possible Self toolkits. Mood tracker is huge, but it's also about the visual and the audio exercises. We talked a little bit earlier at the start. Mental health and physical health is very, very closely linked, and working on both aspects treats the whole person. Same again with nutrition and hydration, and that's super important for you to get involved. Here's a little video. Hopefully this will play.
Keith.
Is there supposed to be an audio?
Oh.
Keith, I don't think you can see the chat, can you? We can't hear the sound.
Oh, you couldn't hear that?
No, so I think you might need to share audio if you want to have another go. Sorry, everyone's put it on the chat, but you can't see it, can you? Because you.
No, I've messed it up. Oh, no, I'll tell you what, the dulcet tones of her was so much better than my Essex boy groans. So, look, I think probably the best thing to do after this, because I'm conscious of time, and look, I've still got another 100 slides to go through here. So, so I think if I then send this to Alex, and then you can send that out, Alex, would work. So. Apologies with that.
That's fine, no problem.
Okay, so did you have the visuals? You could see the visual, but you couldn't hear anything.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that was still probably useless anyway, then, wasn't it? So have a look at it in your own time. This is how to use My Possible Self, where you can download the app off of the App Store. You can create an account. And enter your unique organization code, which is on the screen right now. If you want to see that video, you can scan that QR code now, and that probably be the best way for you to do that and see that at your leisure. So I'll leave that up there for a couple of seconds. The connectivity it gives you and the education it gives you is superb. And it really identifies when you should be making a telephone call. If you measure your mood 3 times a day, it tells you what puts you into that position and where there is trigger points. It then suggests that maybe it's time to make a phone call to your EAP. You can hit the button on there and it comes through to us. It's really, really important. So please, can we make a big effort over the next month to get more usage on the app? And that in turn means more usage through the call center, which in turn means more support for you. Let's put out those fires before they become too deep rooted and problems which are harder to deal with. And that is one big message for you today. So we also have the lifestyle platform separate to the app. This is a content library. On there has huge amounts of information. It's got webinars, it's got self-help, it's got budget calculators, alcohol questionnaires, all things I give to my children and they ignore all the time. It also has the opportunity to interact with us on our online platform. So if you're in a position where you want engagement but not in a position to speak openly, then that's the place to go. Let me see if technology will work on this as well. Then let's see if I can look at the site. Oh, look, we're good. So I'm not sure if we've set up a single sign-in yet or not, Alex, but we can embed this within an extranet site for you. You can have this as a single sign-in login to say if you do it, or indeed put it into your browser. It's enabled by it's mobile enabled, but this is a platform. So we've got some regularly used buttons here. This is the live chat function here where you can engage with us, but we can click on at home and then we can scroll through maybe some financial guides. And as we look through here, we're connected with PayPlan to give you additional support. We pay for that. Here's a load of webinars around the pay plan and also about financial control. We can then have a look at our budget calculator, which talks about debt and debt management, and you can work out your weekly budget and how to work from there. And it's fully engaging. It's not just a statement of fact, and it really works well. And throughout the whole of every page we have, it's got the 24/7 helpline number for you to call to get information. It's also got the online support as well. It's an area where you should go and have a little look at and have a little nosy around, and it just ensures that you end up getting the support that you need. Am I back to the slide decker now? Can someone just?
Yes.
Right. God, I'm surprising myself. Apart from obviously the video not having the sound there, so I've excelled myself for the 57-year-old person with fat fingers, as my kids call me. But the lifestyle platform is just a great reference point, and you should all have a little bob in there and have a little look at that. So confidentiality is massive. We don't break confidentiality unless it's these 3 points at the bottom here. We're not a crisis line. Though if people do get through to us, we do signpost to NHS 111 or the Samaritans. But if people do get through to us, we do provide a risk assessment. And if it is endangering another person's life or child or vulnerable adult or risk to the security of the organisation, then we will breach confidentiality. Other than that, apart from a SARS request, we will never breach any confidentiality and no one will ever get your data. And it's so, so important, I stress that today, that this is a support and service for you to help you become better in every aspect, whether it's practical advice and emotional support. And this service is great, and it's never going to be talked about by anybody else. So we are nearly there. This is our contact details, which we have, which is the free phone number. And this is a telephone number. If you haven't got it, jot it down now. This is our lifestyle platform that we talked about there, which this is a QR code which will take you straight through to that lifestyle platform. Something I should have said with that lifestyle platform was that we've got Google Translate in the top corner. It's got you can test your French on it if you want to, and just see how mental health looks in French if you wish. So that's important. The other important factor on here is the My Possible Self app code, which I really want you to work on. Download it from the App Store. My Possible Self for free off the App Store. Go through the join up. When it asks you for a code, use ADV24 exclamation mark, and that's super, super important. Okay, let me get out of here. Stop sharing. Okay, we've got 10 minutes to go. I think it's time to test your knowledge again, right? We did this actually over in Witney earlier, but now I've reached out to a lot more of you, and you've been, I nearly said bored, you've been educated throughout the last 40 minutes about mental health and also drawing, right? So so let's go back to our physical well-being. Let's all put our hands in the air. And hands on our heads. Hands in the air. Hands on our heads. Double time. Okay. All right, let's go hands on our tails. That's your butts. Okay, where your tail would be if you were a cat. Okay, hands on our heads. Hands on our tails. Double time. Come on now. Perfect. Right, so this is going to be our heads and tails quiz. And there is no prize today. When I was on site, I gave away chocolates and there was champagne. There was a weekend for two in Paris. It was the whole lot. So today, nothing, because I'm not there to give you a hug and present the prize. So I want to just see if you've learned anything today, and if it's going to be a 50-50, and if it's going to be either heads or tails. Dead simple. So here we go. What does EAP stand for? Hands on your head if you think it is Employee Assistance Programme, wink, 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 or hands on your tails if you think it's Emotional Assistance for People. Please vote, everybody. Vote, vote, vote. I'm liking it. Yvonne is okay. So clearly it's heads wins. Employee Assistance Programme. Well done. 1 for 1. Okay, question 2. How many people do you think in your industry, not anybody else's, your industry, use our service as a support? Hands on your heads if you think it's under 10%, or hands on your tails if you think it is more than 10%. Okay, the answer is tails wins. Your industry gets more usage than any other industry with EAP. So it goes back to our statistics with all of it, that it actually, 13% is what we get from that industry. And that's what we need to see. We'll pull the data and look at it. And if we're not getting that kind of number, we need to work harder. And most of the time, it's because you're not aware of the support and services available for you. That's why these sessions are so, so important. It's why me telling you that 22% of people will be affected by mental health. Okay, so don't be one of those. And if it is one of you, then let's work on it and solve it. Let's not be in denial. If you put your head in the sand, all you see is an arse. Okay, so it's really important that we are not an ostrich with all of that, and we actually deal with these and confront the issues. And it's not a weakness; it's a sign of strength that you're walking towards this. Hey, just because we're not bleeding doesn't mean that we're not hurting. So it's really, really important. Back on the quiz, because don't forget, there is absolutely no prizes available for this, but it's all about the pride of getting the right answers, isn't it? We provide 2 service lines primarily to support you: emotional support via our specialist counsellors and information specialists advice line via our telephone information specialists. But which of these services is the busiest? Hands on your head if you think it is emotional support, and hands on your tails if you think it's a telephone information specialist. I'm not going to catch any of you out. Louise, you can still vote, even though you got it wrong earlier. You're still in. Of course, it's counsellors, but not by much. It's only by about 10% a month. It's a difference. So let's not forget that if you need practical advice and support, we're the people to call. Okay, it's not just about people that need emotional support and counselling. And don't forget, they're very interlinked. That's why we brought it together. That if you've got financial difficulties or concerns around that, you've got a nasty letter that someone's going to take you to court, can create problems for your mental health. So solving those problems and being in control prevents you from actually having anxiety and additional mental health issues. So it's really important that we solve all of them. You can think back of, anxiety when your credit card's coming in because you've roasted out going out to Crete and had a good time, and you know it's going to land and you're in a bit of denial and all the rest of it. Let's deal with those. Let's have that support to know what you're doing. There's only 17,000 questions to go, I promise you. Okay, we're nearly there with all it. So what is the direct dial number for you to gain support from Care First? Hands on your heads if you think it is 0800 174 318, or hands on your tails if you think it's 0800 174 319. Boom. Hands on your heads, hands on your tails. Let's vote now, please, everybody. Tails wins. Very good. Of course, it is 174 319. Get it in your phones now. Okay. Have it on speed dial. Have it in your phone book. Care First, emotional support, practical advice. Okay, we provide you with a lifestyle platform to provide you with self-help, coping mechanisms, online counselling, webinars, etc. Remember that? Your username is what? Advance 123 or Advance 345. Hands on your heads if you think it's 123. Hands on your tails if you think it's 345. Fantastic. We're getting there with all of it. It is clearly Advanced 123. Last question. How many advanced staff have downloaded the My Possible Self app? Hands on your heads if you think it is 10% or above. Hands on your tails if you think it's 10% or less. You have all been listening. I can't believe it. I've bored myself, but you guys are right on it. So, of course, at the moment, it's just over 1%. We need to do better, guys. So you're going to come off this call with 4 minutes to go before my time is up, and you're going to go and download that app. You're going to put it in there, and you're going to use it. It's there to help you and to guide you through this journey. It's got physical aspects, mental health support, coping mechanisms, interactive with the Mood app, and it's the way forward to get an idea about where you're at in terms of your mental health and physical health with that. It's been great seeing you all. I'm hoping that it's worked. I'm sorry you couldn't hear the video, but I'm sure you enjoyed the pictures. I will send this deck across to Alex after this call. I think it's great what Advance do as an organisation to really promote this. We work with 1,400 organisations, and there is not many people that make this kind of commitment, I can promise you. So it's great that you guys work for an organisation that really in tune with that. You should be very proud of what you've got. And all I just say is please use it and reach out to us. I'm not sure if you want to do any Q&A, Alex. There's so many of you on there, or whether if there's any questions that you want to collate and send across to me, and we can do an FAQs, then we can go from there.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. I mean, we have got 3 minutes. So if anybody has got a specific question that they'd like to put to Keith, now's your chance. But if you've got questions afterwards that come to mind, please send them through to me. And yes, I will liaise with Keith and we'll get you some FAQs. Anybody in the chat, anything? You must have answered all the questions, Keith.
Unbelievable. It's never been done before, Alex. I can't believe it. I thought that someone might ask how they want to draw a fox or something.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to go away and work on my drawing skills. Kim's asked for the passcode for the app. The passcode.
So the passcode for the app is ADV123 exclamation mark. Oh, there we go. ADV24 exclamation mark. Thank you for putting that in there. Louise has saved me. I gave out the wrong detail. What an idiot. So thank you.
And Heather, we've got a question from Heather.
Hello. So you were saying that Advance have done kind of 1% uptake at the moment. What is the average of like the kind of companies that have kind of signed up to this sort of service?
Yeah, around 60% in terms of sign-ups with it. I think what's a better metrics with it, Heather, is stickiness. I mean, clearly, got to be in it to use it, to then not use it, if it makes sense. But at the moment, it's actually the downloads to get it on there. We have a very low drop off on apps once people are on it, and that's the strength of the app and how good an app is. Once you're on it and you see it engaging, and then you stay with it. And the drop off that we have is under 10%. So therefore people are enjoying their experience on the app. But what we're going to do is get them to get it in their hands and open it up.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Keith, thank you very much for joining us today. It was really helpful, really interesting and fun. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Just to point out that, yes, as Keith mentioned earlier about single sign-on to access to the Care First Lifestyle website, you can access that through our intranet pages, employee assistance under the Need to Know section. That's also where you'll find various documents that tells you a little bit more about what Care First does, and also about the information system service that is available through there. We will please go and check out the site, look at the webinars. I've been going myself and looking and playing back information stuff. There's lots of resources on there, and I can highly recommend the My Possible Self app. Lots of little videos as well, very short ones, so it doesn't take up very much time. They're really, really helpful, and a lot of those resources you would be paying quite a lot for a subscription to something like that elsewhere. So yeah, highly recommend it, and thank you very much for joining.
Thanks, guys. Take care. Have a good rest of the week. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.